The objective for Section 5 is to describe the types of cargo tank trucks and their associated hazards. We're going to talk about bulk transportation containers with our emphasis on cargo tank trucks. Highway vehicles that transport hazardous materials include cargo tank trucks, also called tank motor vehicles, cargo tanks, and tank trucks. Dry bulk containers, compressed gas tube trailers, mixed load containers, also called box trucks or dry van trucks. These vehicles transport all types of hazardous materials in a wide range of quantities. Depending on the type and quantity of hazardous materials, these vehicles may have DOT placards. Even unplacarded highway vehicles may be carrying quantities of hazardous materials, such as fuel in the saddle tanks or other materials in levels below placarding requirements. Cargo tank trucks are recognized because they have construction features such as fittings, attachments, or the shape characteristics of their uses. Even if first responders recognize one of the cargo tank trucks described in this section, the process of positive identification must proceed from placards to shipping papers or other formal sources of information. Cargo tank trucks commonly transport bulk amounts of hazardous materials via roadway. Most cargo tank trucks that haul hazardous materials are designed to meet government tank safety specifications. These specifications set minimum tank construction material thickness and required safety features, maximum allowed working pressures. Cargo tank specification and nameplates provide information about the standards to which the container or tank was built. These plates are usually found on the roadside driver's side of the vehicle near the dolly leg or landing gear. The two specifications in use are the Motor Carrier or MC standard and DOT/TC standard, which is Department of Transportation and Transport Canada standards. Cargo tank trucks built to a given specification are designed using the MC or DOT/TC initials followed by a three-digit number identifying a specification such as MC 306 or DOT/TC 406. Emergency responders can recognize these cargo tank trucks by their required construction features, fittings, valves, attachments, and shapes such as ring stiffeners on corrosive liquid tanks and bolted manways or manholes on high-pressure tanks. Tanks not constructed to meet one of the common MC or DOT specifications are commonly referred to as non-spec tanks. Non-spec tanks may haul non-regulated hazardous material if the tank was designed for a specific purpose and exempted from the DOT/TC's requirements. Examples of non-regulated hazards include molten sulfur, asphalt, and milk. Hazardous materials may be hauled in non-spec cargo tank trucks or cargo tank trucks that meet a design specification. High-pressure tank trucks are also known as MC 331 cargo tanks. These tank trucks have pressure typically between 100 to 500 psi with typical capacities between 3,000 to 11,000 gallons. High-pressure cargo tanks have a single steel compartment. High-pressure tank trucks transport liquefied gases such as propane, anhydrous ammonia, and butane, or high vapor pressure liquids and highly hazardous materials such as parathon. High-pressure bobtail trucks are used for local delivery of liquefied petroleum gas and anhydrous ammonia. MC 331 cargo tank trucks have the following features: bolted manway, inlet and outlet valves, white or other reflective paint scheme, large hemispherical heads or on both ends, guard cage around the bottom loading and unloading piping, uninsulated tanks, single shell vessels, emergency shutoff, which are typically located in the front, left, and right rear, and permanent markings such as flammable gas, compressed gas, shipping name, or identifiable manufacturer or distributor names. High-pressure tank trucks may experience disintegration, runaway cracking, or damage to the attachments, punctures, splits, or tears. They may release via violent rupture, rapid relief, or leaks. When exposed to heat or flames, they may levy. Flammable gases or vapors may explode or ignite when coming into contact with an ignition source. Cryogenic tank trucks are also known as MC-338, TC-338 cargo tanks. These tank trucks have pressures that can be less than 25 and up to 500 psi and capacities of 8,000 gallons to 10,000 gallons. These trucks have well-insulated aluminum or steel tanks with vacuum-sealed shells. These tank trucks transport the following gases that have been liquefied by lowering their temperatures, including liquefied oxygen, liquid nitrogen, liquefied carbon dioxide, and liquefied hydrogen. When released, the product will be extremely cold and therefore will tend to pool close to the ground. Typically, the product will initially be visible as a fog or cloud because of the condensation of humidity and ice formation. As they warm, these liquids can change into gas state and expand. Gases will expand as they warm. A warning that gases will displace oxygen when released, and many released liquefied gases can kill a person with one breath due to oxygen deprivation, leading to asphyxiation. MC-338 cryogenic tanks have the following features: relief valves that may be discharging non-hazardous vapors such as nitrogen or oxygen, round tank with flat ends, large and bulky double shelling and heavy insulation, loading and unloading station attached either at the rear or in front of the rear dual wheels, permanent markings such as refrigerated liquid or an identifiable manufacturer name, proper shipping name, and emergency shutoffs on the left rear and right rear. Cryogenic tank trucks may experience disintegration, runaway cracking, damage to attachments, punctures, splits, or tears. They may release via violent rupture, rapid relief, or leaks. When exposed to heat or flames, they may levy. Low-pressure chemical tank trucks are also known as MC-307 or DOT TC-407 cargo tanks, depending on the specifications to which they were built. These tank trucks typically have a pressure of 25 to 35 psi with typical capacities of 5,500 gallon to 7,000 gallons. Most have a stainless steel, mild steel, or aluminum tank, and some have a rubber lining, rubber coating, or polymer coating. Low-pressure chemical tank trucks carry liquids including flammable and combustible liquids, mild corrosives, and some toxics or poisons. Liquids and vapors may have a variety of hazards depending on the products being transported. MC-307 and DOT-407 cargo tanks have the following features: rounded or horseshoe-shaped ends, stiffening rings that may be visible or covered, rollover or turnover protection, single or multiple compartments, manway assembly protected by the rollover or turnover protection crash box, discharge piping at midship or rear, rear or middle unloading, pressure and vacuum protection, drain hose from the rollover or turnover protection down the side of the tank, and emergency shutoffs, hydraulic or pneumatic, located on the left front of the tank. Low-pressure chemical tanks can be breached by damage to attachments, punctures, splits, or tears. When involved in when fire or unusual chemical reactions, they are unlikely to rupture violently. More commonly, these cargo tanks are involved in liquid spills or leaks. Non-pressure cargo tank trucks are also known as MC-306, DOT-406 cargo tanks, depending on the specifications to which they were built. New tanks were constructed of aluminum or steel, but older tanks are made of steel. Typical pressure in these tanks is less than 4 psi. The maximum capacity of these tanks is 14,000 gallons in the U.S., with a capacity range between 1,500 gallons to 10,000 gallons. Non-pressure cargo tanks almost always carry flammable or combustible liquids such as gasoline, fuel oil, alcohol, or other non-hazardous liquids. Individual compartments may carry different products. Fire control will be a primary concern at incidents involving these vehicles. MC306 or DOT406 cargo tanks have the following features: oval-shaped, manways located in overturned protection areas, bottom valves, longitudinal rollover protection, valve assembly and unloading control box under the tank, vapor recovery system on curbside and rear if present, multiple compartments, manway assemblies and vapor recovery valves on top of each compartment, and emergency shutoff systems. Non-pressure cargo tanks can be breached by punctures, splits, tears, or damage to attachments. When involved in fire, steel tanks can rupture violently. Aluminum tanks will melt. More commonly, these cargo tanks are involved in liquid spills or leaks. Corrosive liquid tanks are also known as MC312 or DOT TC412 cargo tank trucks, depending on the specifications which they were built. These tank trucks typically have a pressure range of 35 to 55 psi and may have a much higher maximum allowed working pressure. Typical tank capacities are from 3,300 to 6,300 gallons. Aluminum and mild steel, stainless steel, and fiberglass reinforced plastic tanks can be rubber or polymer lined. The outer jacket may be aluminum or stainless steel and often covers a layer of insulation. Usually, these tank trucks may have one compartment. As a precaution, liquid coming out of a drain hose may indicate leaks on the top of the tank. Corrosive liquid tank trucks carry corrosives, typically acids such as acetylene chloride, hydrochloric acid, and sodium hydroxide. Avoid contact with corrosive liquids and vapors. Be aware that corrosives can damage tools and equipment, including firefighter protective clothing. MC312 or DOT TC412 corrosive tank trucks may have the following features: small diameter round shape, exterior stiffening rings may be visible on uninsulated tanks, top unloading on the rear of the tank and exterior, piping extended to the bottom of the tank, rollover protection around the valve assembly, a pressure relief device typically located in turnover protection, discolored loading and unloading area, and an area painted or coated with corrosive resistant material. As a warning, most DOT TC412s do not have a shutoff valve. Corrosive liquid tank trucks can be breached by damage to attachments, punctures, splits, or tears. Mostly common, these cargo tanks are involved in liquid spills or leaks, but on rare occasion, chemical reactions can cause violent ruptures. Compressed gas tube trailers transport individual steel containers stacked and mounted together. Typical pressure on the tubes range from 2,400 to 5,000 pounds per square inch. Each cylinder typically has an overpressure device. Compressed gas tube trailers carry helium, hydrogen, methane, oxygen, and other gases. Often they are parked or located at the facility where the gas is used, much like a semi-permanent storage tank. Compressed gas tube trailers typically have the following features: a pressure relief device for each cylinder, a bolted manway at the front or rear, the valves are in protected housing, the valve manifold is together, and permanent markings for the materials or ownership that is locally identified, including proper shipping name. Compressed gas tube trailers may experience disintegration, runaway cracking, damage to attachments, punctures, splits, or tears. They may release via violent rupture, rapid relief, or leaks. When exposed to heat or flames, they may levy. Flammable gases may explode or ignite when coming in contact with an ignition source. Because of the high pressure in the tubes, accidental release from these trailers can be violent, and released gases will expand rapidly. Dry bulk cargo trailers transport solids including hazardous solids such as oxidizers, corrosive solids, cement, plastic pellets, and fertilizer. While contents are not usually under pressure, low pressure between 15 to 20 psi may be used to discharge or transfer the product from the container. These cargo trailers are constructed to transport heavy loads, but damage to attachments, punctures, splits, or tears may occur if they are involved in an accident. Dry bulk cargo trailers have the following features: typically not under pressure, varying types that often include bottom valves with V or W-shaped bottom unloading compartments, rear-mounted auxiliary engine powered compressor or tractor-mounted power takeoff, air compressor, air-assisted external valving, and bottom unloading pipes, and top manway assemblies. The review question for this section is list the types of cargo tank trucks and the hazard that they present to first responders. To find the answers to this question, see pages 240 to 251 of the manual for the answers.